Okay, welcome back if you've just watched part one. If you haven't watched part one, that covers some of the early results of the basic version of the creative flow and wellbeing study. And part two just introduces the new advanced version of the study that we've just launched publicly. Okay, so what we're looking to ask here is what's happening daily between the beginning and the end of a creative activity. And we really want to understand what changes in people's well-being and whether that is dictated by different motivational types. How motivated are you to do the activity you're about to do, the creative activity? Are you being told to do it? Is it something that you want to do because you feel like it's something that would be good for you? Is it something that you just want to do for the sake of it because you enjoy it? These are all different types of motivation that we capture and that are known to have some effects on flow and well-being, but they haven't been looked at in a creative context yet in the research. And we also want to understand what's happened afterwards. So, how much flow was experienced during the creative activity? And there are lots of other variables that I haven't got time to go through here that we want to understand that potentially cause the changes in the well-being between the start and the end of the activity. And we've made this really quick and easy. So it's an online survey. The pre-activity form takes about 200 seconds, and the post-activity form takes 339 seconds. And these are averages based on around, I think, 10 participants that have already done the study. And we're asking people to fill out these forms daily for 2 weeks, at any time of the day, whatever works for you, whatever your normal routine is. We don't want people to change their routines or their working patterns for the study. We want to capture what happens naturally. And for the days that you don't engage in a creative activity, we just ask you to fill out a form, which takes around 72 seconds on average, so it's menial, anytime after 8 p.m. to record your well-being for that day. If you think you might forget to do it, we've set up an optional reminder system where you can set 1 or 2 emails to come through when you think you might start and when you think you might end your creative activities. So, for example, here we've got reminders at 9 a.m. and 5 p.m., but you can set it at 2 p.m. and 12 a.m. if you really wanted to. That's absolutely fine. So here's an example of one participant that's come through already. The participant is a 36-year-old male urban planner. And the activities that he's engaging in are sort of 3D modeling for urban layouts and making maps in Adobe Illustrator. And from his response here, we can see that when he experiences more flow during these activities, he's also experiencing less negative emotions after the activity compared to when he started. Okay, so we can see that flow does correlate with less negative emotions. Equally, we can see that higher flow correlates with more positive emotions after the activity relative to when they started. This really is direct evidence, personalised evidence for this participant that flow does lead to positive changes in his well-being. Okay, and this is information that he can use to try to set up the conditions to experience more flow in his life if he wants to work on improving his well-being. We also captured some other information. We wanted to look at certain outcomes of the creative session and how they relate to reports of flow as well. So if you look at the pink and the blue lines here, they show that when flow was reported at high levels, the participant was more likely to strongly agree with these statements. The session went as planned and expected, which is dark blue, and I made lots of progress, which is the pink. But surprisingly, not so much for I found solutions to problems. Okay, so we can't attribute finding solutions to problems to flow in this participant. However, for me, when I find solutions to problems when I'm doing something creative, I feel fantastic afterwards. So really this highlights that this is not always going to be the same for everyone. And everyone's going to have different trigger points as to, one, what causes high states of flow, and also what causes a knock-on effect on people's well-being. And this personalized approach is really the direction that we're going with this study and also with Creative Empirical. So With Creative Empirical, one of the goals is to be able to give information back to participants. And we're creating a personalized results portal. So if you do take part in any of the research, you'll actually be able to explore all these graphs plus many, many, many more. And there's around 15 other different variables just for this project. So you can explore what are your trigger points to flow states and various other creative measures that we'll be introducing over the next, well, the near future. You can explore what are the things that trigger you to essentially perform your best creatively and to maintain and look after your own well-being. And this isn't something that is available for free anywhere currently. So you'll also be able to compare your responses anonymously to others. So you'll be able to see how your trigger points to essentially make your best work, how that compares to other people in the same discipline as you. So you can filter out other disciplines, or if you're curious, you can look and see how other people in other disciplines how they respond to these different measures. Um, and that's the results, and that's fantastic. But what we've actually found from the participants that have done the study so far is that 100% of everyone I spoke to wants to continue doing this beyond the required 2 weeks. So really, the process of just logging this information, it enables reflection, which is actually interesting and useful for the participants. Okay. And ordinarily, you wouldn't be able to remember 14 days of data at this kind of level. Well, I don't want to assume, but it's quite a lot of information to remember. And most people don't really have a reason to go into this much granular detail. But we're providing the resources for you to be able to explore that. So if you're interested in doing this study, you can scan this QR code, which will take you to the registration page. There's a 15-minute registration, and then you can get started with the daily logging. Or you can register from the link on creativeempirical.com. And if you've done the basic survey already, you would have got an ID code, which essentially is a way to anonymize your responses. And you should enter that ID code when you get started on the advanced version, so we can merge your responses together. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them. Just email me here at this email address. And we look forward to seeing your responses. So thanks very much.